My name is Dave Ursay.
My name is Jordan Kiley.
My name is Austin Browder.
We're Hovey.
I'm from Bloomington, Illinois.
From a little town called Prue, Illinois.
My hometown is Palatine, Illinois.
Will you ever let me in?
The band is called Hovey. It came about when I was a student at ISU. I gave tours to prospective students and their families, and we were based out of Hovey Hall. And that's how I met the wife of one of the studio engineers, and that's how the name came about. So we took that name from Hovey Hall. In the band, I do the lead vocals, keyboard, and sometimes guitar as well.
In the band, I play lead guitar. I kind of multitask. I go wherever I'm needed. I play some piano too, and I'm also going to be doing backup vocal type stuff.
I'm the drummer. A little bit of guitar in there too, and I'm sure they'll throw me on some other stuff, whatever they all want to do.
It was a long process to form Hovey. It started sort of as an individual project, but I always wanted to make it a group effort and make it a band. And it wasn't until my senior year at ISU when I first met Austin, who was the guitar player, the lead guitarist. And then Tazone at the studio mentioned that he had one of his former students from his recording class by the name of Jordan and asked him to join. And that's how we got here today.
I love my music more than anything else. I can remember 3 years old pulling the pots and pans out of my mama's cabinets, playing with the spoons on the floor. She comes in and goes, "You hungry for lunch?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, I need all my pots and pans back." It's just been a simple love for music since day one.
Where to go?
Our influences would have to be a lot of English-based bands, so like Coldplay, Radiohead, U2, Keane, a lot of the piano rock groups from England. We also draw a lot of inspiration from a lot of American artists in terms of songwriting. Bob Dylan, we like Ryan Adams, the Pierces, and of course Alabama Shakes.
I have difficulty sometimes as a performer conveying emotion, but I find that I'm most successful when I kind of think of music as this force or this flow thing that I'm trying to convey. And the more focused I am on the actual music and the instrumentation itself, the better I'm usually able to get that across to the audience. And I think that when I sit down and listen to music or go to a really phenomenal show, for me it's defined by the most efficient transition of that experience to the audience. And I have found some moments when I've been at shows that have just really been moving and transcendent for me. And I would suppose that when I'm performing with Hovey, my goal is to kind of get to that level as much of the time as possible and convey that experience for my audience.
What inspires me to do what I do, just seeing how music has affected my life in so many positive ways. The music has brought so many new friendships, it's brought me to new places.
What inspires me to do what I do? I would have to say at a most basic level, I just really like music. It ties a lot into the previous answer. I like just seeing what the best music that I can make is and get that out to people. I'd say that's probably my most inspiring factor in terms of playing music and performing.
We try and keep it audience-centered, so we think the best show is the one in which the audience is participating. We have to hold that energy and keep them involved for the whole concert experience, such that when they walk away they say, "I can't wait to see them again." So our show's always focused on making sure that the people who come get the best experience possible.
If I leave the stage and either I feel like I didn't give you 100%, or you don't feel completely satisfied with the show that I just gave you, or I should say that we just gave you, I did not perform my job to my best. And I owe you that debt now.
Describe the band in one simple word choice. Okay. Spontaneous. There's so many times where we get to the studio and we're not sure what everyone's going to be doing. We don't even know sometimes what song we're supposed to be playing. So by spontaneous, it means the creativeness that you get out of the randomness is something that you just can't force. Working with Tizone is working with a perfectionist and a drill sergeant. Everything is on point. There's always a focus. If we're just working on a song, if we're in the studio for half an hour, we get so much accomplished. Working with Tizone too, every time we're in the studio, we just bounce ideas off of each other, and we're so both receptive and accepting of constructive criticism and seeing what would work here and there. So working with Tizone has been a blessing, and it's just natural.
Tizone is precise, so it's always very rewarding in the studio. As Dave mentioned, sometimes we tend to be a spontaneous band. I wouldn't always have a lot of notice or be very familiar with the content of the song, so I'd come in and get a general idea down, and then I might have to do multiple takes and play it over and over again, sometimes dozens of times until I got it right, but then we did always end up with the best sounding material, so it's always rewarding. He is a bit of a perfectionist, but I like that in working with him.
He's taught me many things, and he's become a good friend of mine. There's been times at the studio where we sit down and we write and we play and we record and all this other stuff, we collaborate, and there's times I would go to the studio and I won't touch a guitar or a drumstick or a slider on a board 2 hours because we're just sitting there catching up and chewing the fat.
Hovey, we'll be moving down here to Huntsville, Alabama within this year. At that point we want to start playing some shows, start getting a local gathering, and it's our hopes that we can get a European tour for the summer or somewhere overseas as well as the United States, just to get our music out there and start moving this project. While we're on tour, we will probably still be songwriting and already thinking about the next album, getting that going.
Sitting here just waiting for a train. I once called you friend. As I board, the clouds turn into rain.